So I have a question for you. Are you scared of losing money? If you are, then my advice to you is don't make investments. If you cannot afford to lose any money, don't make investments. It's as simple as that. Whether you're planning on getting into something like Forex, shares, business, property, it doesn't matter. All of these things carry risk. As much as there's a potential to make money from them, there's also potential to lose money. I can't tell you guys how many times I have personally lost money on things like shares. On a few occasions, I've had friends or people who I thought they knew what they. Listen, it's not that the person knew what they were talking about and maybe they got it wrong. But sometimes things just don't work out. But sometimes I've taken advice from people, invested in shares. I remember this one share. I put in like 12,000 Rand into the share. And the share did very well. I actually told one of my buddies, listen, I invested in the share. It seems to be doing well. And he also put money, and he put more than me. And when things were going well, we were both happy and we were smiling. And, my 12,000, I think it went up to like 80,000 Rand. Guess what? As I sit here today, that share, my money right now is worth something like 1,500. I've basically, I haven't sold it yet, so I only lose once I sell. But it's been years. That share has never recovered. Right? And my buddy, he doesn't come back to me and say, oh, you told me to invest in this thing and now I've lost my money. He knows he made a decision, he took a risk, and unfortunately, it didn't work out. Right? So just understand that no matter what you're going to try, it takes risk. If you decide, or imagine if Mike Tyson or Floyd Mayweather said, I want to be a boxer, I want to become a champion, but I don't want to get punched or knocked out. You can't get in the game and not expect to get knocked out. Right? Expect that sometimes things will not go in your favor. I know someone personally who lost over 20 million Rand, invested in something. They showed him statements and everything. He thought his money was secure, only to find out later that all the documentation they had sent him, it was fraudulent. It had like a big company's logos on there and everything was fraudulent, and he ended up losing over 20 million. It's not a nice experience. I think about the franchise I invested in, over 500,000 Rand, put money into this thing, thought it's going to work out, thought I'm going to make all this money. I ended up losing the money. It hurts every time I think about it, but what am I going to sit and do? Cry about it, feel depressed, blame the franchisor? I made the decision, and that's the important thing. If you decide to make an investment, also be man enough or woman enough to just accept and acknowledge that if things go wrong and it doesn't work out, you made the decision to get involved. No one kept a gun to your head. No one convinced you. You made the decision. Okay, it's very important to understand this, that no matter what you get involved in, there's always a potential of risk. The other day I did I put a post on my property deal maker page on Facebook, asking people what do they struggle with in property. And one person said, I struggle to find areas where I can get guaranteed rentals. And I said to her, there is no such thing as guaranteed rentals. And if that's what you're expecting, you're never going to find it. The same like people might not pay you in a low income area. You can also find in a high income area, people don't pay you. It's just part of the territory. But, know where your limits are. If you know you can't afford to lose more than 10,000 Rand, don't invest more than 10,000. But if you know your limit is, you don't even want to lose $1, you don't even want to lose 1 Rand, then that means you shouldn't invest. But here's news for you. Okay, you can look after your health your whole life. You can exercise. You can do everything right. You could still end up getting cancer and dying. Okay, you could get into a relationship, give your heart and soul 10, 15, 20, 30 years, and you could still get your heart broken, or maybe the person dies. So what does that tell you? It tells you that life, irrespective of what you do, is going to have risk, and you need to be prepared to take that risk. Okay, if you're not willing to take the risk, it means you're never going to go out of the house, you're never going to meet people, you're never going to, basically you're not going to live. Right? That's the definition of it. And some people don't want to take any risk. But don't blame other people if you make a decision and things don't work out in your favor. It's not the other person's fault half the time. Right? You just have to take responsibility that you made the decision to make that investment and it didn't turn out the way you hoped. So bottom line, if you don't want to lose money, don't make investments. Just stay in your lane and keep your money in the bank, and that's just how you should do it. So I hope that helps you, but if you are going to take the risk, be prepared to lose as well.